What's up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and this is going to be your Real Housewives of Potomac review. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by. Today is going to be calm, Erica. I'm not about to get worked up over this mess. I did, however, take, you know me, I took a lot of notes. Let's get through it. These are my notes for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I just want to show y'all. A quarter of a page. So maybe I should do that first, huh? No, let's do Potomac first. Let's do Potomac first. Okay, you guys ready? All right, so it started off where they left off with Monique saying that Jamal is all around Atlanta slinging his big dick all around Atlanta. His big dick. That was an interesting choice of words for her to use, but we're not going to analyze Monique too much today because I'm sure there's a lot of classes using her as a case study as we speak. So we talk about Jamal being faithful, and Gizelle says, I think I've been transparent with this relationship. I think everybody knows what Jamal's past is. That's the reason for me. That's the reason why Monique's tea is piss warm, because we already know this person. We already know his pattern of behavior. So you coming out and telling me that Jeffrey Dahmer ate another person, I'm like, girl, that's what he does. So what are you telling me that's so shocking? That's where I was. Gizelle says, I've been transparent. I do have some communication issues. I think we kind of saw that in the car on the way when we saw the buddies in the Mini Cooper on the way to the airport. That's another thing why I have take the perspective that I do, is because from the beginning I had already resolved that Gizelle was doing this for TV. Remember that shirt that they had on? I'm the storyline, I'm the plot. So I always thought from the beginning that it was a way, like exactly what Karen said, to keep her job. I don't think it was to keep her job per se, that's shady, but I think it was to have a storyline, because otherwise what else is going on if every Hugh Beauty is honey fled the country like Tanya? We don't know where every Hugh Beauty is. It's liquidated. See, that's the shit that what's her name should have came at her about, like something directly related to her, but she took shots at Jamal. We know how that played out. So Candiace asked Gizelle, so if it's true what's happening, if the stuff in this thirst book, if it's true, then what are you gonna do? And Gizelle says, I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So Gizelle is giving us what Ashley gives us, right? You know how Ashley never says that she's mad at Michael. She never goes against Michael. She never goes. She just says, oh, I understand, and and all that other foolishness. But she was pulling the Ashley. I'm not going to get upset. You guys are not going to see me flip out or whatever. But maybe that's later. I don't know, because they said Gizelle acted a donkey along with the Samuels down to the reunion. So we'll see how that plays out. Monique says on the side, well, they must be in an open relationship. Maybe that's what she wants. Talk your shit, girl. You're on the other side of the room. These people have been fucking with you. Talk your shit. You know what I'm saying? Just talk your shit, girl. You always, I think what's so beautiful about Monique is that the things that she says can immediately be applied to her. And that's what you call projection. It's like you're saying these things out of your mouth that we can hold a mirror up to you and be like, girl, look, you see you doing the same thing? You know what I'm saying? So it's the hypocrisy for me when it comes to Monique. But talk your shit, because Gizelle ain't been the nicest bitch to you, girl. And you've been kissing her ass since you got here. So it's what it is. Cindy says that Gizelle maintains this level of composure that she's kind of like, it's concerning. A lot of people were in the comments section talking about how Gizelle maintains composure and how well she's just like, she hasn't raised her voice. She's been cool. I don't know if she took a Valium before or smoked a little reefer or something, but Gizelle is like super cool. It's like she in here, like, girl, what? I mean, we'll cross that bridge when she's very calm and very cool. She hasn't gone off. She hasn't flipped the lid. She hasn't you know, she hasn't done anything. She hasn't even raised her voice. So she tells Wendy, yo, thank you. You know, that seems to be coming from a good place. And I appreciate that niceness, or something she said to her. But Gizelle says, the older I get, the less it bothers me. I take this, or it can be taken either way, where either it's like, I don't feel like Cynthia, I'm 50 something years old, it don't matter, whatever, let's get married. It's like, I'm too old to be fighting over the things that we fought about 12 or 13 years ago. I think it's really sad to come to the conclusion as a 50-year-old woman to say, I would rather just deal with the person who mistreated me. I'd rather be with that person than to, and some people just get comfortable and they go back to what's comfortable, even though it isn't good for them. I don't think Jamal Bryant is good for Gizelle. I think Gizelle deserves better. Maybe she feels that that's what she deserves, and that's the reason why she went backwards. But like I said, at the end of the day, that they're family, they're still family. She still supports him. They're still I was watching when he was being, I don't know what they call it when they bring on a new pastor at a church, but he was, you know, sitting in the chair, and Grace Adore Angel, is that the name? I think I got it. I'm gonna get the name. Oh, they were sitting there, and Gizelle was right there, right? Gizelle is that's their father. Their father is doing something great. She wants to make sure that they see their father doing this great thing. It might be great in their culture. No, I guess it is great to be a pastor of church. I don't know, child. I don't even want to get into that, because it's just like, you know, they're still family, and he has this torrid past, and you know, and it's just like, it's a joke. Andy says, when you speak to him again, what are you gonna say? And she was like, oh, we'll be okay, we'll be fine. And that's the reason why I think it's not a real romantic relationship. Do they have a close relationship as co-parents? Probably. Do they have a friendship as friends? I think we were able to see that this season, but I don't see anything, and I don't think anybody is shocked, right, that there might not be a romantic relationship there. Anyways, they break for lunch. Robyn and Gizelle are in the back. They're just like, oh my God, girl, can you believe this girl has this binder? Is that what you was doing the whole time we wasn't inviting you on these group trips, girl? That's what you were over there doing with that binder, copying things and being like, girl, ooh, I'm gonna get them. So they were just making fun of her. In Chris and Monique's room, I hear Chris say something about her having that information for a year. So this reunion happened in 2020. You're holding on. You have received something that you've been holding on to for a year, and you're going to bring it to the reunion and talk about it on the reunion. That's the same exact thing you should have done when you found out that these women were trying to start a rumor about the paternity of your son. Bitch, wait! Oh my God. Bitch, wait a minute. A light bulb just went off for me, but I'm gonna wait. Gizelle makes a little joke that Buster Douglas made a slam book. Not a slam book, a thirst book. Come on, slam book. What's the book that they had in Mean Girls, where they had all the girls and they had all the collateral on the girls in the book? Didn't that happen on Mean Girls? Isn't that a film about high school students? I don't know. Anyways, the jabs that we can take is very easy. So about an hour later, Robyn is late. So now it's Ashley's segment, and Andy tells her, you know, we root for you, we feel for you. It just seems like every year you're down here defending the silent, violent behavior of your predator husband. Once again, Ashley stays true to who she is. Another one with no emotions. She says, I'm not defending, I don't defend it. Our idea is that Ashley knows that her husband will fuck anything. She has spotted a man that is wealthy. Y'all saw that Ashley was on Say Yes for the Dress. She's like, she doesn't defend. Michael wasn't there, of course. She says that he's changed because he almost lost his family. And she says she's had her little fun when they were separated and that Michael is only attracted to women. So she just lied through the entire segment. And what else can we expect from Ashley? I've been telling y'all for the last, I don't know how many years, that every single woman on here is a liar. Like, they all lie. They really just, I call them stunt queens, because it's just like, Gizelle, what's going on with your storyline? Monique, what's going on with your storyline? Karen, what the hell's going on with you? Ashley, what the hell is going on with you? And what's the other girl's name? Robyn, what's going on with you? We pretty much know what's going on with Candiace. She's a trust fund baby whose mother is disrespectful, who doesn't have her boundaries. That's my gripe with Candiace, is the lack of boundaries that she has with her mother. This don't have nothing to do with Candiace. See how Candiace stole the show again from Ashley? Let's get back to Ashley. She said with the stripper that Michael only kissed that stripper. And that they didn't have sex. Candiace yells at, girl, they had sex. Whatever. Next question. Let's get on to it, because the thing is like, you spending time while people are sitting here completely not just being dishonest. So what's the point? Why are we spending time on this? It's like, it's really like, what's really the point? I really hope that Ashley and Michael don't come back. I feel like they are the white couple of the group. I feel like the privilege and the wealth and the whiteness, and I feel like Ashley is a white identified woman. It's like you're able to identify everybody else's bullshit, but I don't know. I don't know, whatever. He was like, I was worried and I am concerned a bit, but if Michael Darby cheats on me again, I will leave Michael Darby. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. You and Sheila ain't going nowhere. You, Sheila, Lump, your brother, y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all found a well. It don't matter what he looked like. He could look like a scab. He can look like, when he rubs his hands together, it sounds like sandpaper. Until he proves me wrong, she says. And then Karen says, I support her decision. I was like, Karen, girl, Karen is true. I know y'all like Karen. I know she was the fan favorite because she stayed on Gizelle's necks, all the lines in her neck. She stayed on all of them. But she's whack too. Like, if we really want to talk about this crew, all these hoes is whack, like, for real. She just wants the truth. Andy goes, girl, what's the difference between Ashley and Gizelle? What's the difference? Girl, what's the difference? You got this man consistently cheating on this woman, and you're gonna support her, but you want to know if Gizelle shit is real. Bitch, is this shit real? Girl. She tells Karen, we don't have a relationship. She was like, you've just been angry. Why are you so angry? Why are you so defensive? She said, girl, those are the words you're using today. She was like, you're full of shit, she tells her. And she says, you should know I learned it from you. You trained me well. So again, and I did notice when, I'll come back to that. I talked about the producer who Michael grabbed his ass, and we all saw the footage of it. It was at Sharice's birthday party. They spoke about it on the reunion when they had on all the white, and Robyn said that, you know, that's what I was talking about, is when Michael did that. And then Ashley plays it off. It was just fun and flirty. It was innocent, and they were joking. And then Andy says, well, you know what? We actually asked him, and he said it was non-consensual, and he was mortified. Well, that's funny, because he definitely calls my husband Zaddy. Girl, what the fuck? That shit was weird to me. And even the way that Ashley's voice is sounding, I don't know if she's nasally because she's pregnant, but it just sounds, the whole display, the whole performance is just a no for me. They rolled the tape of Michael saying that it's not true what he did. And Candiace has a valid question from across the room and says, so if two of these things are true, what makes us think that this last thing is not true. And then Ashley says she didn't have no post-nup. She didn't do it. So I figured that was just for show, to make it seem like she was putting her foot down, because I thought it was a great idea to get a post-nup just in case the man cheats again. You already know he is going to do it because he lacks the self-control so much that he goes around to people on the set, and they've allowed it and continue to allow him to go around violating people over and over and over again. Every season, Ashley is sitting down speaking about Michael and his problem with his hands, and they're still here. It's how you can get away. You have to be white and you have to be rich in order to be able to get away with violating people, black people. And then he said that the girl didn't want anything from him. She did. How does a sex worker not? What is she getting paid for? That's what Gizelle was like. Well, what is she getting paid for? Like, if rich, that's what they do. Not all of them, but that's what they do. That's what Michael is hiring a girl to do. Michael ain't hiring no girl to cuddle. Hello? I don't know. Maybe she felt his hands on her and it felt like rocks. And she was just like, no thanks. I don't want to screw you. But pay me though. They get to Karen's lying ass and they talk about going to Surrey for her trip to Surrey. And Ashley and Gizelle say it was the first time they saw the real Karen. And then Gizelle says, that's the Karen that we like. Andy mentions the drunk Karen and says, you know, we like drunk Karen. I know I like drunk Karen. I love when she gets drunk, and because she really starts to talk and she really starts to share with us how she feels about things. Robyn and Karen have this thing, and I'm not sure what it is, but a lot of people were offended when Robyn said that Karen's house was cozy. This thing where Karen takes shots at Robyn when it comes to Juan. She does that. There's this thing between Karen and Robyn that's very subtle. I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but it's very subtle and it's very aggressive. And it's happens between them, and I don't know what it is. Maybe Robyn really just doesn't like Karen. But like I said, none of these women on this show are friends. Andy asked Karen, you know, they start talking about whether Karen has a disdain for Ray's penis or Ray's dick. Everybody's looking like, what? I can't believe that Andy asked it, but girl, do you have a disdain for Ray's dick? And she says, no. That's disgusting. I was like, girl, wait, can you clarify that? Is it disgusting? Is the dick disgusting? Or is the question is the question disgusting? Because I need to know. What are we talking about here? I need a follow-up question. Andy, you dropped the ball on that one, because she was like, that's disgusting. Okay, girl. She said she's been a spoiled brat for 17 years, and so she really shouldn't expect anything in like a repayment back because he has spoiled her for 17 years. I guess she has a point, but it's the lack of reciprocity, I think, that Karen was having a problem with. It was like, I helped you out. I helped you out of this jam, and you still can't even express love for me. I could see where she's coming from, and on both ways, like, you know, show me love. Show me that you appreciate what I did for you. But at the same time, it's like, that's your husband. What is it, for better or for worse? He was in the worst. You was able to pick up the slack at the time. I don't think that any married person would not do that for their spouse, unless their spouse was just like losing money from gambling or some, you know, bad habit. I don't think that any person would just let their, especially the breadwinner, just sink, you know, with the knowledge that they have the ability to help. I think that's just normal what you do in marriage. Anyway, she says, but if he wants to write me a check, I don't have no problem with that. I know that's right. And he asked the question, like, so you guys, you know, with the money that you are getting from the show, how does that go well over in the home? And Monique says, oh, that money, that's just that little check. I thought it was funny when she said that little check. But then I thought about it like, girl, wait. She basically explains that little check helps her not have to ask Chris for money, and she can put the money into her businesses, which is very, very smart to put her money into her businesses. Monique does have an essential oils line that just came out a few days ago. Hopefully she has an accountability blend. That will work. That would be the best thing for her. She says she uses that and she lets Andy know, bitch, Yes. Well, Chris doesn't make any money now. She was like, wait a minute, honey. His investment portfolio is sickening. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. That's what we know. So Robyn says, well, you know, in the household, I really don't like, you know, I cater to Juan's ego. I'm going to speak the way she wanted to say it. Well, you know, men's ego are very fragile. They want, because they have a penis, they want to be able to lead. But then if you put it in a leader role, that somehow makes them feel a certain way. So she says basically that she's catering to Juan's ego. Back on Karen and Ray, how did you feel when he told you he wasn't in love with you? And Gizelle shady ass goes, I figure you have heard that before. I figure it was nothing new. I was like, bitch, did y'all catch that? I said Gizelle and Karen, bitch, y'all some shady bitches to each other. They just, everything is a jab. Everything is a dig. Everything is an opportunity to get in your ass. And I noticed something else. She's like, I figure you heard that before. And, you know, you were probably embarrassed. That's why you started crying. And she was like, no, I wasn't embarrassed. I'm not that vain. I was heartbroken. We already know how vain Gizelle is, girl. We know that is the foundation of your existence. If we were going to be very honest today. She's like, I'm showing more of my private side. You know, I feel like I'm growing. And Andy goes, you know what? I want to call bullshit. I was like, come on, Andy. I want to call bullshit because usually when I'm asking you questions or when we're talking to you, it's a river of words and we can never get anything out that is just very forthright and very like, okay, we get what you're saying after you explain it, which I've noticed a lot that Karen is very good at deflecting and very good at speaking in riddles, that when it's all said and done, you're left with like, wait, did she answer the question? Like, I don't even know, did she really answer? It's very, and she does it all the time and nobody, they call her out on it, but she never comes, she's just like, you know, that's just who I am. I'm not going to answer your question and I'm going to leave you more confused afterwards. And that's just what it is. And he says, do you feel like you were trying to present for your mom and your parents, you know? And she was like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I feel like I had to do that. Because, you know, when Karen first came on the first season, she was very much the etiquette queen. Very much, so much so that I don't think that the behavior that Monique demonstrated down to the barn would have been acceptable to season 1 Karen at all. Gizelle said that Karen was a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody saw Karen get giddy. She was like, and then she immediately switched up and she tells Gizelle, don't be jealous because I'm growing more than you. And Gizelle says, okay, Karen, like, shut up. Like, you know, it's not even a time to take a shot and you taking shots at this girl. You're just jealous because I'm growing and you're not. Girl, whatever. So they get to Monique and they start talking about her bird. And they start talking about the fact that the bird flew away and it was gone for 26 hours. I'm with Candiace. I tweeted back in August when it happened that it wasn't true. I felt like it wasn't true. I don't believe Monique's displays of emotion. I'm just going to say it. They're not believable to me. And that's not for me to decide. I'm not the emotions police. But what I saw when she lost that bird and how she was sitting in the car crying, I was like, that bird didn't get lost is what I said. What I meant to say is the bird didn't fly away anywhere. That bird was probably sitting in that house. I felt like that was a ploy for sympathy because you were in the midst of this shit with Candiace. That's how I truly feel about it. The bird expert, the parrot expert said that typically when birds fly away, they don't come back. And it's ironic that this bird came back to this house and was able to identify and had not been at this home for that long to be able, like a dog, to be like, oh, okay, I know where to go. But an expert said that birds, when they typically fly away, they don't come back. Candiace said because the bird didn't go nowhere. I was like, girl. Same. I didn't think, did y'all think the bird went anywhere? Was I the only one? Were Candiace and I the only ones that didn't believe that bird was gone? I didn't believe, I felt like it was sympathy. Shout out to Team Monique. So Karen said she, when I found out that he flew away, I went outside and I called for him. Girl, shut up. Shut the fuck up. So anyways, they jump right into the trainer storyline, right? The sub storyline, the subplot. Andy lays it all out there. He talks about the miscarriage and it possibly being an abortion because you were messing around with the trainer, and these women were going to start a rumor about you. So Monique explains that Gigi, who I'm surprised that she actually called her name, because like a child she calls her former friend. My former friend. Former friend is longer than Gigi. Just say Gigi, girl. Just say Gigi. Just say Gigi. That was your friend. I know how it feels when somebody's betrayed you. I know you don't want to even call their fucking name, bitch. I don't want to call that bitch's name. Former friend is too long to say. I would rather you say that bitch, but you know, you don't like to cuss. You like to beat people's ass, but you don't like to cuss. Shout out to Team Monique. Charisse sent the info to the cast, and then the cast made a plot to bring the story while the cameras were up. Gizelle mentions in her interview twice. Now remember, we said, as nobody mentioned this, right? We know word on the street is that Candiace shut it down. She ran back to Karen, told Karen, and Karen told Monique. We know it wasn't mentioned in any of the scenes. However, Gizelle mentions it twice in her interview. And then they show another clip of Gizelle calling him a screwing buddy, a side piece, and something else she called him. Gizelle was lending to the rumor that Monique was having sex with this trainer, or having an inappropriate relationship with this trainer. But Gizelle never said anything about the paternity of the baby. So when Gizelle says, we knew about this, she was like, no, the lies. You knew about the lies. And Candiace was like, girl, if it was a lie, you wouldn't have been running away from him. No one mentioned the child, so everybody was confused. Everybody was confused at the mention that the child was possibly not Chris's. Nobody mentioned that on camera. Monique says it did happen. I was waiting for the interview tape, for them to roll the interview tape. Andy says, well, none of the storyline came out. Nothing came out about this. Nobody mentioned it. It wasn't a part of the story. Now, Gizelle did mention it, right? Because we were like, why are you so mad at Candiace if it was Gizelle who was actually mentioning it? Because Candiace didn't mention it any time this season, right? It was Gizelle's ass. And that's why everybody's like, girl, you should be really mad at Gizelle. She's the one mentioning it so that it can be on camera. I believe that if Gizelle mentioned the paternity of the son, they would have played that tape. And I was waiting. I was like, y'all gonna play it or what? Because y'all playing everything else. Or y'all gonna play the part where Gizelle said that the boy wasn't his? I'm still waiting for them to roll the tapes. They didn't roll it. So where did that come from? Ding, 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 ding. That came from Chris. Bitch, that came from Chris, which to me supports Gigi's story that she said, I told Chris, and Chris was like, girl, I had a feeling, girl, but don't tell her you talked to me. And now here she comes up pregnant. I don't know what's going on, child. So from Monique's standpoint, she feels like that was in question. That was part of the rumor. Candiace supported that, but Gizelle saying that nobody's ever mentioned the child. I didn't see any tape of Gizelle. Y'all let me know. I would like to know. I want to know why would what would Charisse do? Why would Charisse do that? What did Monique, now I want to know, what did Monique do to Charisse for Charisse to be like, girl, let's start this rumor. Y'all can take this rumor. Y'all can talk about this thing, you know, on the show. I'm trying to figure out what would be her motivation for that, because from our standpoint, we don't know why did Monique fall out with Charisse? Does anybody know? I don't know why Monique fell out with Charisse. I don't know. Why would Charisse start a rumor? Is that what she's talking about? Like, did Gigi just take it, and Gigi took it to all the cast members, and Charisse is the one that was like, here, girls. Like I said, Charisse is a cast member. She's just not in the intro. So was Charisse like, girl, here, let's start this shit? And that's the reason why you don't fuck with Charisse? Because why would Charisse even do that? Something that serious what would be her motivation for doing it? Why would she do that? That's my question. That's a question that I really had. They get into her and Candiace, and they get into the fact that Charisse and Monique took a picture together, and Monique was holding Charisse. And this is with the knowledge of Charisse starting or trying to get this rumor started. And Andy says, do you understand why Candiace would think that there wasn't that big of a beef if you were at Ashley's baby shower taking pictures, slapping hands, breaking bread, and taking pictures with a woman who possibly started this awful rumor that could, you know, potentially harm your family? Do you understand why that doesn't look right? She said, and the thing over the fire pit, I'm so tired of this shit. The thing over the fire pit, she said she did overreact. And we've been saying that all season, that Monique was really just trying to figure out a way that she could bait Candiace. And as soon as Candiace actually engaged with her, that was her opportunity to do what she did. She admits to overreacting to that. And she was like, you know, I don't know why she didn't tell me. I feel like I needed to mentally prepare. And Robyn was like, girl, what you need to mentally prepare to see Charisse for? And that's my question. What do you need to mentally prepare for? If you beating her up is an indication that you're not friends, why is it the expectation that she bring this stuff back to you, or she tell you that Charisse is going to be there? Charisse is what Monique Samuels wants to be in Potomac, okay? I'm just going to say it. Monique wants to be what Charisse Jackson is in Jordan Jackson, what she is in Potomac. Charisse is a socialite in Potomac. Charisse is Potomac. And I think that Monique wants to be that. Why you need to mentally prepare for her to be there? Could Candiace have given her a heads up? But Candiace wasn't your friend, as you said. I mean, that's the reason why you beat her up, right? They weren't friends. That's what everybody keeps saying. They weren't friends. So I'm saying, why do I need to tell you? If she's you know that Charisse is Potomac, why wouldn't you assume that she would be? Because if we really want to go through all of the group scenes, Charisse was at every group function. Every single group function, Charisse was there. Ashley Sip and See, Cameron's Sip and See, Candiace's engagement party, Robyn's engagement party. The only group event that Charisse wasn't at was Portugal, but everything else she was there. So this idea that, I don't know why you thought that a Potomac socialite wouldn't be at an event. You should have prepared yourself with the knowledge to expect her to be there, not anybody to tell you. Because if they weren't really friends, this is what I'm saying. Like, if they were friends, then I would be like, girl, why you didn't give me a heads up that this bitch was going to be there? Because we all do it, right? Who all going to be there? Right? So, but if we're not cool like that, I'm just going to a work function. If I'm going to a work function, prepare for ex-employees to be there. Okay, let's go by that rule. Okay, because the girl wasn't your friend, and these are just your co-workers, and you being fake and fraudulent, like you calling Gizelle fake and fraudulent. You being fake and fraudulent with these women. You're not being your authentic self with these women. You should expect that Charisse was going to be there. She's an ex-employee. You should have just expected that. They get into the fight situation. They show it. They're like, okay, girls, so we're about to show this. Andy was like, we do not condone violence. We just want to show this because, you know, for context or whatever. They're sitting there. Wendy asked for a glass of water. Can we get some water or something? Because this is about to be a mess. They show it. Monique says that her thing was that she was trying to figure out what happened. So when they showed the fight, you see Monique say, I thought that was Candiace who pushed me, right? You say that now, right? Before you said that Candiace threw a wine glass at you, and that's the reason why you started. Here you're saying that it was the push that triggered you. Then you also say it was Candiace's hand underneath your chin. She was doing that. She was doing the same thing you were doing to her, but your hair wasn't long enough, so she was just doing the hand motions to you after you had already touched her. She says that Candiace's hand motions were doing that. Then she was like, I want to know what made me do that. I want to understand what made me do that. So they were like, how is Candiace's hand, if somebody's hand going like that to you is going to trigger you after you touch them, there needs to be a deeper conversation with that. Then you say that Candiace's hand was the cause, right? Candiace's hand was the cause. Gizelle pushed you. You thought it was Candiace, so that was the cause. It was the hand that pushed you, the hand underneath your chin that caused it. It was also you blacked out, but you also were able to see that Candiace had a glass in her hand. That Candiace had a glass in her hand. You were able to see that in your blacked out state, and that's the reason why you didn't let go. Everybody's looking confused because she says, because Candiace was throwing glasses. And everybody was like, what, girl, what? That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Okay, girl, because that didn't happen. And what we saw, I didn't see Candiace throwing glasses. I saw like scurrying of, the table. Robyn was trying to hold the table up. After Gizelle like pushed Monique away, she ran around the table and was trying to pull Candiace away from Monique. She says she was holding her, but I could see in her blacked out state, I could see that she was holding the glass. But Karen says that Candiace's statement says that she released the glass, but we see the footage. Candiace had that glass in her hand, honey. She did not let go of that glass. So y'all need to get your stories together, because either you saw her with the glass in your hand, in her hand, you saw her pushing glasses all out the way, you was blacked out. What else? There was no footage of a wine glass being thrown. No footage of a wine glass being thrown. Andy says it. He's like, there's no footage of a wine glass being thrown. And Monique is trying her best. She's on the ropes this episode. On the ropes, trying to figure out how to explain. She's trying her best to explain herself. Robyn says, I was holding the table. And they show the clip of her saying, well, if I'm done with the show, I might as well finish her off. Candiace's hand was holding the broken glass. So I don't understand why Karen takes the position that she takes when we could see the footage. We could see the footage that the girl didn't let go of the glass. So everybody is confused. Andy says, what were your intentions the next day in apologizing, or the few days later, and bringing the women to Karen's house if you didn't have any remorse? And she's like, well, because I wanted to, apologize for putting them in harm's way, because I didn't, it's luckily no one got hurt. And everybody's looking like, girl, you hurt Candiace. And she was like, well, I got her too. Do you want to see in my binder? I got the dentist, because... What was your reaction when you saw it back? Candiace is over there weeping, a weeping willow. She said she doesn't want to talk about it. Andy was like, girl, we got to talk about it. You know what it is, girl. Come on. You know what it is. And Candiace is trying to pull herself together. She's pulling herself together. She's like... Monique says, can I say something? Candiace says, no, I don't want you to say anything. And she says, I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't asking you. I was asking Andy. And Andy goes, no, I want her to talk. She was like, okay, thank you, Andy. It's that aggression. Like, girl, why are you so tense? Like, really? Do you have a tranquility blend in your essential oils, bitch? Put that all over, everywhere, because you too tense for me. It's almost like you want some shit to pop off. I don't know what it is. But you don't have to be like that. Andy tells her, how did you feel? Candiace says, I was sad. I was angry. I was embarrassed. I was all of these things, this range of emotions that Candiace was letting us know how she was feeling about this situation. And Gizelle goes, you know what? I just want to say, let me just say something. Can I just say something, please? y'all need to stop asking this girl to get over it. Let me tell y'all something. And I agree with Gizelle. I don't know why I agree with Gizelle, but I agree with this Gizelle. You guys are in therapy now for childhood trauma, right? You're in therapy for relationships that you went over with people that did you wrong, and you need to flush through those emotions and talk it out. How the fuck do y'all expect Candiace not to be traumatized? If a girl came from an environment where this behavior wasn't acceptable or normal, and she's experienced something like this against her, it wasn't like she witnessed something and she's having this dramatic, this PTSD. It happened to her, and people want her to get over it. And I think people want her to get over it because Monique told the story that made it seem that Candiace was an aggressor. And when the story came out, she wasn't. And you still went along with it. You still allowed the lie to perpetuate and to keep going. And it fueled Monique's stands and supporters. And it fueled them. It gave them energy. And Monique was also energized by that, by passively aggressively liking tweets, retweeting things that were against Candiace. Yeah, you guys are in a fight, but don't say you're not a bully and then you turn around and make a song called Drag Queens. Don't say you're not a bully, because while you may not have been doing the work, you encouraged it and you perpetuated it, and you didn't tell anybody. Y'all, Candiace did not throw that glass at me. I was wrong. I was wrong about that, y'all. She did not throw that glass at me. But you let it go. And that's where the hurt is. It's like, you knew you lied. You knew you lied. You knew you lied. And when it came out and proved that you were lying, you're still like, no, and I'm going to make up all these stories. Monique says, I don't know why she's sitting over there crying, because all this does is develop a narrative, and it just makes it worse for her. I said, oh, y'all, something ain't right. Something is not right with that girl. Does somebody have a mirror to hold up to this girl? I was like, oh my God, I can't believe. Did she really say that? Y'all, I don't know. I was just like, this girl is out of control. And she says, well, I'm a matter-of-fact person, and I'm a type A personality. And Andy was like, it just doesn't seem like you're very unemotional. You don't have any emotion. And to her credit, you cannot expect people to process emotions the way that you normally see, or what you have been fed as a normal emotional response to something. And it's true. You cannot expect a person to cry when you would cry, right? If that's something that you would cry about, and you're looking over at the person and they're just like, you're like, oh my God, something's wrong with them. But they just have learned to process their emotions a different way. Andy was confused because he was like, it's been a year, you haven't seen her, and you're just like, there's no emotion there. There's nothing there. And she goes, I went through my emotions already. You guys missed it. Y'all missed that. We missed. He was like, you just seem very unemotional about it, girl. And she goes, of course I'm upset. Of course I am. Don't you see? Can't you tell? Can't you tell I'm upset? I was like, oh, this girl is a trip, honey. Here's the thing that I have to say about this. One thing I want to say is that as this reunion comes, or this season of Real Housewives of Potomac comes to an end, I want to say that a lot of the energy behind the people who support Monique, or the energy behind her, it's very much reflective of the way that people support Donald Trump. And that probably like kind of hits you, because you don't ever want to be aligned with the behaviors of someone who supports Donald Trump. I would be offended if somebody aligned behaviors like that. But that's what it gives. It gives very much cognitive dissonance. It gives very much, I don't care what she does. It just gives very much, I don't care the person she targeted was a person I don't like, I do not care what she did to that person. And so I'm going to harass that person, and I'm going to believe anything, no matter how many times the story changes. I'm going to believe whatever you tell me, and I'm going to use that as a way to support my opinion of you, even though it's changed several times. It's very much reminiscent of how people who support Donald Trump behave. But here's the thing that I want to say for Monique, and this is the part that I think would help her out. My observation of Monique since she started has been that she's not operating from her authentic self. And she's not operating from her authentic self for people who don't even like her. She came onto the scene with her Princess Leia buns, wrapped on cue for Gizelle. She's been trying to get in Gizelle's good graces, you know, extending things to her that she didn't deserve. And I think what that does is when you are around people and you're not being your true self, it builds up resentment. It builds up resentment. And you are trying your best to get a group of people, your co-workers, to like you, and they're just not buying it. Now, whether or not Gizelle either clocked the inauthenticity from Monique or she was jealous of Monique, but whatever it was, she created a boundary between her and Monique, and anytime it was time to shade or whatever, Gizelle was right there. And we all agreed that Gizelle does not care for Monique. But here comes Candiace. And Candiace is this beauty queen, trust fund, cry baby, right? That we say that she's a child because her parents support her. They don't want to see her struggling. Much like Milani, Chase, and little Chris, they're going to probably have a life that's similar to Candiace. But here comes Candiace. And she's, you know, jovial, carefree, what you guys want to align to Ashley. This is what Candiace embodies, and she's unapologetic about it. This is who she is. And she's being her authentic self. So in a group of women, if I'm sitting here not being me, and I'm watching this girl be herself, crybaby and all, and people still take to her, and the people who I'm trying to get to like me are still taking her. Now, it sounds very juvenile as I'm putting this, but this is how girls are taught on the playground. And at 50 years old, 54 years old, 37 years old, and 33 years old, we see it playing out again on the playground, right? We see the behaviors. We see how the girls click up. Remember what I said, when girls fight, they come for your social standing, right? So if you are supposed to be a socialite in Potomac and there's a rumor saying that you're cheating on your trainer and your husband is questioning the paternity, that's not a good place you want to be. But it's also not a good place you want to be if you're fighting your coworkers as well. So it's a lot of mixed signals, and it's all rooted in Monique's inability to be her authentic self in these groups of women. And maybe she can't do that because she's on guard, right? I don't know if these women like me, but I think it's best to always approach a situation as yourself rather than not as yourself, because you're going to build resentment to the people who you're performing for. You're going to be mad at them. And it's a weird relationship to have. You want to be accepted by them, but you have changed who you are in order to be accepted by them. So now you're resentful towards them. And a lot of people, that happens in a lot of different relationships, not just friendships. It does happen in romantic relationships. It happens between parent and child. You become resentful to your parent because you're doing things for them that's not really your authentic self, Wendy, right? It's like you're doing something for someone else. Where Monique loses me is that You seem to be standing in your shit. I just don't understand. If you have no remorse for your actions towards Candiace, then why are you lying over and over and over and over again? Those two things don't go together. I don't care what I did to you, but I'm going to make up some lies for it. I don't care what I did to you. I don't care. I don't have any compassion, but I'm going to lie about it. So you see how the actions don't match? If you truly, I would hate to be going back and forth. Think about it. You're going back and forth with somebody who doesn't care about what they did to you, but they're lying to you about why they did what they did. How do you not care and lie at the same time? Because you're lying from fear of how you are going to look. Once again, your presentation is inauthentic. That's why those pancakes didn't taste like shit, but they looked beautiful for everybody, but they didn't taste like anything. You are really the embodiment of that pancake. You want everything to be perfect and pretty, and you want to act like nothing doesn't bother you. And then you blow up because you're not allowing yourself to be in your emotions and you're not being your true self. Now you blow up at this girl. I would accept it more if Monique was like, I just don't like Candiace. And she was getting on my fucking nerves because in this episode, we did not get the why. Did anybody else hear it? Why did you do that to Candiace? Because was it the hand? Was it the push? Was it the wine glass? What was it? Because you still haven't said why you decided to violate her. What did you do that for? And to me, I feel like if you're not remorseful for your actions, don't lie about why you did it. I don't care. To me, I would accept it more if she was like, I just don't like Candiace. She's doing everything but saying, fuck that bitch. I mean, her supporters and her stands and people who are supporting her are saying it, but she's not saying it. She's still, when she's yelling at Gizelle from across, you are faking a fraud, sweetie. No, you are too, my dear. You are a fake and a fraud. You sat on a rumor for 2 years that somebody had about you. You sat across from those people. You broke bread with those people. You had drinks. You took pictures. Instead of being like, you know what? I'm pissed off at y'all. Because how the fuck, first of all, where's the girl code? Because if I am cheating on my man, why the fuck y'all telling them? Should be your gripe with Gigi. But from Gigi's perspective is, I was trying to save her marriage and I wanted to let Chris know, instead of saying, well, maybe she did have conversations with Monique that said, girl, you're doing too much with this trainer, girl. I don't know. I don't know what Gigi's motivation is, but I feel like, Monique, you're not being your authentic self. And this is the reason why you're walking around with this energy that's very much like, and even if you watch her, she's doing this. She's trying to maintain composure, but go back and watch Monique. It's very, I'm sure her blood pressure was up, but she had to maintain composure. And she's like, I am upset, of course, but I'm just trying to process. I'm just trying to explain to you how I processed it. If you don't feel bad, don't lie about it. Just say, I don't feel bad about it. I don't like Candiace. I just don't like her. I tried to, I was upset. Like, none of that is there's no rationale for that response. And that's where Monique loses me. Like I said, and it's not for me to accept, but I would have a better understanding if she was like, fuck that bitch. I think everybody would be like, girl, finally, just say you don't like her. Why are you making up all these stories? Just be like, I've been waiting to beat that bitch's ass. Because if you think about it, even when they showed her going off on Candiace at the other barn, right? I don't know what it is about Monique and Barnes. Maybe it just triggers her. I don't know what it is. But clearly it does trigger her, because she says to Candiace, don't talk to me like that, little girl. Bitch, who the fuck are you calling a little girl? So you have this idea that because she's, well, 4 or 5 years younger than you, that you could talk to her any kind of way, and then have this support of Candiace's mother taking care of her on as your ammunition. Like, your mother takes care of you, so I can also talk to you like a child. Don't talk to me like that, little girl. I would drag your ass. I would drag you pregnant at all. And to this day, Candiace don't have no venom for you. You see Candiace over there taking shots at me? She can take shots at you, bitch. You put your hands on her. Anytime Candiace wants to say, I don't understand why Candiace has to be quiet now that Monique beat her up. Ain't nobody afraid of Monique. Let's make that very clear. This bitch lost control in the situation. Nobody's tipping and toeing around Monique Samuels. Tick, tick, boom. Nobody is. And to this day, Candiace has not come out her face at that girl. She's called you a liar, but the venom that she reserves for Ashley, she don't have it for you. So nobody understands why you beat her up, girl, and you still haven't said why you beat her up. You still making up lies, still making up shit that don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That's why everybody was confused. Nobody had the tape. Where is the tape of somebody saying that Chris wasn't Chase's dad? Is that something that came from Chris? Like, this is a mess. This is a mess. I don't understand why you are lying if you don't have any remorse. I'm sure those behaviors is outlined somewhere in the DSM-5. A person who did something, a violent act, they don't have any remorse, but they're lying about it. It doesn't match up, and it doesn't match up with how you present yourself on this show. There's just so many inconsistencies about who you are, Monique, and I really hope that you are really trying to take the time to say, when I am amongst women, that I'm just going to be myself. And maybe herself doesn't align with the Potomac energy. Maybe it doesn't. And maybe that's what makes her so, anxious. After this is said and done, I'm done talking about it, because I even think that I am going to mute Candiace's name. I'm going to mute the hashtag. I'm going to mute Monique's name, because like I said, the supporters, it's a trip. It's a trip, some of the things. Getting into a physical altercation with someone who has never been in one is emotionally traumatic. Yeah, Candiace can be traumatized. It does not mean that she can't have words from you from across the room. Why does Candiace need to be quiet? You're not Debo. Let's be clear. When Debo comes around, shout out to Tiny Lister. When Debo comes around, we be quiet. But when he leave, we'll be talking again. You know what I'm saying? Monique ain't Debo. Monique is a person who she's not centered, and she doesn't have her shit together, and she doesn't know how to be herself. I hope them oils could bring you some enlightenment of who you are. Not who the women around you are, but who you are, so that when you walk into a space of women, you have the confidence to be Monique Samuels. Not what these women want you to be, because all you're going to do is resent those women and end up putting your hands on those women. There's no way in the world. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Y'all get down in the comments. Let's talk about it. I mean, like I said, what do y'all think? If you don't have any remorse for something, would you still lie about? Because let me tell you something. I'm just going to tell this. If something happened to somebody that I didn't like, I'm not going to... And if I did it, I'm gonna be like, girl, shut up. Or I'll beat your ass again. Shut up, I don't care. How do you feel about what you did to Candiace? But I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm gonna say, I did that. I did that. I take accountability for that. I don't feel bad for it. Yeah, I take accountability for that because I did it. Nobody else did it. Nobody told me to do it. I did it on my own. She didn't make me do it. I didn't like the girl. And I was tired of hearing her goddamn mouth. And I've been wanting to fight her ass since last year. Since she has been able to come into this group with her crying, trust fund, free-spirited ass, and she's been accepted, and I'm over here not being myself, and these bitches still won't accept me. Like your pastor told you, that these women are not buying your version of perfection. And the best thing to do, Monique, is to be yourself. Be yourself. That's the only thing the only advice that I can give you out of all of this, because the way that you're acting online, and it's not, and she keeps saying, I'm not bullying, but you have the energy behind you. Your behavior is being fueled by people who they're fueled on lies. They're fueled on inconsistencies, and you're not saying anything about it. You're sitting back like, let them attack Candiace. And then last night, Monique says, give her an Oscar for her performance. Bitch, you were saying that you were displaying emotions that you were not. You were saying that you were upset and you had a blank face. Give your ass an Oscar. What the hell? Anyways, y'all, I'm done talking. Take care of each other and protect your energy.